What's up, everybody? Today I figured that I would show you my new beehives and give you kind of a general description of what's going on, some things I've learned so far. In case you didn't know, I just got started into beekeeping within the last month or so. I basically just had an itch that once I bought my farm, I wanted to get some honeybees out here, help pollinate everything, and I'm just kind of interested in it. I've talked to a lot of you around town, and when I tell everybody that I have honeybees now, everybody gets a pretty big kick out of it and has a whole bunch of questions. So thought it would just be easiest if I came out, made a couple videos and showed everybody kind of what honeybees do and how we get the honey, and yeah. So as you can see here, I got a couple tools with me. As you can see, I've got my bee suit on today. Right now I'm actually wearing it backwards because it's so hot that I wanted to do the interview with the hood down. Got my gloves, my bee gloves. Lots of experienced beekeepers don't use gloves when they tend their hives, but I'm still too chicken to not use them, so still use them. This right here is called a hive tool. It's got a kind of a slanted face on the front so that you can kind of wedge it between things, and then it's got a little hook on the back to help get the frames out when you're working on your hives. And then right here I got my smoker. So I didn't get a very good video of me lighting this, but I'll do that a different day for you. Got this ready to go too because it was so hot today. So essentially we use the smoke to help calm the hive down. Bees communicate a lot by their sense of smell, so the smoke seems to disrupt that, and it helps keep them calm. So we get that going nice and hot. Like I said, it's really hot today, so bees, there's a lot of bees outside. I'll try to zoom in on them and get started here and show everybody what we're working with. So as you can see here, I have two different hives set up. I had one of the local beekeepers help me out to get started, and we actually caught two different swarms, which I'll go through in a different video how we did that this year. But essentially now I have two different bee colonies, and they're both doing well. So right now you can see there's a whole bunch of them outside the hives today. That's mainly because it's so hot that they're keeping the hive cool by hanging out on the outside instead of being on the inside. Alright, I'm all suited up here now, so we're going to go ahead and open up the first hive. This first hive seems to be a little bit calmer than the second hive, so we're going to start with them today. You can see how the bees, they don't really like that. They're just essentially trying to get away from the smoke. It's not hurting them or anything, just helps keep them calm. Actually quite a bit up on top. Kind of expected that because, like I said, it's so hot. They're trying to stay out of the hive as much as they can, help keep that cool. They have to maintain a temperature in the hive in order to keep all their babies healthy and keep growing. I think it's like 96 degrees. So here's kind of what the top of the hive looks like right now. This is just the top box. So you can see that the bees are actually building out some comb on there. I'm going to get all that knocked off. That probably means that I need to help reorganize some hives or make sure that they're tight enough so that they can keep expanding to the side instead of up into the top like this. We'll take a look today and see what we can come up with. Alright, got the smoker going a little bit better now. Essentially when I do this, maybe you can't see, I'll see if I can bring this over here. The bees they shake down to the bottom when they're up on top like that. So now you can see that there's none of them on top because I just smoked out the top. When I do that, it helps send them down in the hive, helps you get a little bit better surface to work with. Doesn't hurt them like I said earlier, but I'm going to start out here at the edge. Usually the bees work their way from the middle out. So I'll start out here on the edge, help pull one of these frames out. That'll help me get some room to work with. So alright, so this is the edge frame, and you can see, so this one starts with, it starts with black, foundation is what it's called. You can see the bees are just starting to draw this side out. So they're starting to make their honeycomb. You can kind of see them working away at it. And this one was the side that's closest to the outside edge. So on this side, you can see they've got it a little bit further. Still got a ways to go on this one. But it's kind of cool to see how they start building their honeycomb out. And this is all made out of beeswax. Bees have little glands on them that produce their wax, and then they take all that wax up from all the bees in the hive, and they start putting it together. So pretty cool. I'm just gonna set that on the ground. Try to keep it upright so that they don't get smashed or anything, and actually if you keep it upright, they'll just keep working away at it, which is pretty cool too. So you don't really mess with them at all. Smoker's not really lit the best here today. I have to keep opening it up. I've also heard that amateur beekeepers, they are a little bit more paranoid with the smoke. They tend to use a little bit more than some veterans. So if you're laughing at me out there, well, I'm not too worried about it. I'd rather be cautious than get stung. So, alright, let's go ahead. We'll take the next frame. Alright, I'm just looking down in here. They're just building these couple of outer edge ones out. Nothing really too cool to show you on these ones, so I'm just going to keep on moving. Wow, okay. Alright, so this one. So this is my third frame in. And it's actually full of honey. Or nectar, I guess it would be at this stage. But you can see here, so the bees are actually starting to cap it. I don't know how good you can see it on the camera. So when it gets all capped like it is right across the top here, that's when you know that you can harvest it. So essentially the bees have to dry it out. They have to go and get the pollen, turn it to nectar, and then dry it out, turn it into honey for us, and then they cap it. Well, I guess it's technically for them, and we steal it. You can see this frame is actually full on that side, and you can even see on this side it's actually full of honey already. So they've been hard at work here. So put this one right back in. That's a good sign. Usually everything that I've read kind of shows me that the first year of beekeeping, normally you don't get much honey, if any at all, just because the bees are working to expand their colony. But if you can get them through the winter, then the next year they really take off. But my bees seem to be doing really well, at least in my opinion, which is by no means an expert. But I'm pretty happy with them so far. So you can kind of see how I use this tool here. I stick that little J-hook down, pick up the frame, helps me get it off the edge there. Alright, this one here, I'm looking to see if I can see the queen bee anywhere on these. There's actually a whole bunch of honey in here. There's a whole bunch of brood, which brood is the eggs essentially that the bees lay to reproduce. been told that you got to be extra careful. My queens are not marked. Some people put a little paint dot on theirs. I do not have mine marked, so I am being extra careful. Make sure that the queen's not on here. But this is an awesome brood pattern is what it's called. So I'll bring it over here to show you. So essentially all of those holes in the center there, where all that stuff's capped over, that is honeybees that are eggs that are in the brood stage. So they stay in that stage for about 12 days and then they hatch and come out as worker bees. On the bottom there, I even have some drone brood taking place, it looks like, which is a really good sign that the bees are happy. They're trying to make male bees, which essentially don't do anything for the hive. Male bees, their only job is to go out into the wild, find a queen bee, and mate with her. So yeah, so you can see a little bit of honey stores up at the top on these, and then they got all those brood that's capped. Looks like they're working to cap some, or this hive might even be to the point where some of those have hatched. And so they've hatched and then they're filling it with honey. I did put a second brood box on here to help them keep expanding, keep working. Trying to just make sure they have plenty of room to keep going. I don't want to be the reason that they slow down. So, and keep them hard at it here. Found that when I cut some of this top comb off, I actually just put it off to the side here. And if there was anything good in it, the bees will go to it outside of the hive and they will grab it, bring out they'll work on the good stuff that I leave on the outside. They'll bring it back into the hide and they'll put it in a different spot. So I got to be careful right here. There's a couple bees up here. You can see this little piece of honeycomb there. That's what they were doing on the top. So I'm trying to get them to stop doing that on the top. So I am taking away some of their honeycomb. There's a couple females, worker bees, working on it. But I think it'll be all right. So, all right, let me put this on the outside here. Got my hive tool. Nothing too good on that one to show you guys. Just gonna keep right on going here. Oops, got a couple of them mad at me there. Boy, they got a lot of honey up here in these top parts of the beehive. I think is a good thing. I moved these up about 2 weeks ago, so I think most of the brood that was in here probably hatched, and that's why they're putting new honey in here instead of brood. I bet if we went to the bottom box, I'd be able to see a lot of the brood, but we're not going to go that deep today. Kind of running out of time, running out of a little bit of battery life on the camera. It's hot. Got to go play softball later. But we'll just check the rest of these here. See, they got all the comb drawn out. I can just kind of see from the top. So I'm gonna grab my camera real quick. Nah, probably not. So essentially now I'm just gonna push everything back. There's no really need to look at anything else. The bees are hard at it. They've got a lot going on. Looks like they're doing pretty good. I think most of their brood's probably down in the bottom box. They're just not quite that big of a colony yet where I'm too concerned. But they are bringing in a lot of honey, which is really good news. So good that I think that there's a chance, if we keep getting some good rain, the flowers keep having a lot, I think there might be a chance that we could get some honey off this hive. And actually, out of the two, this hive wasn't quite doing as good as the other hive. So, kind of looking forward to it, pretty excited. So we'll pop this back in real quick. Go ahead and shove everything over. One of the things that you got to be careful about is that you keep the beehives, your frames, really evenly spaced. One of the reasons that you're worried about that is that helps keep the bees from building out that comb in a funky order or anything like that. A weird pattern. So, like I said, how they were kind of building on the top on this one. Probably just had too much space up there. So we'll knock that off and see if we can't get them to stop doing that. Alright. One of the things you can do actually, since there's a whole bunch of them on this top frame, I can actually just take them and I can shake it. That knocks most of them off. A couple of them fly right back to it. Then the rest of them just kind of go right back down in the hive. And then it'll allow me to scrape this top kind of comb off that you can see that they were building on there. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. Probably don't even really need to do this, but just likes to keep it clean. Help with my OCD. Yeah, so just scrape that off real quick. Now we're gonna go ahead and put this top box back on. You want to be really gentle with when you're working with your bees. Essentially give them time so that you don't smash a bunch of them. And we're good to go. So that's all we got for this hive. I'm going to go ahead and check the next hive, but I don't know how much battery life I got on the camera. So we'll see if you guys are able to hang around or not. Alright, I got 11 minutes of battery life left on the camera. We'll go ahead and see what we can do. Over here you can see that the bees are kind of away from the front now. That's probably just from the smoke that was drifting over from the other hive when I was working on it. We'll go ahead and give the front a couple puffs, and then we'll crack into the top here. They're probably thinking right now, oh no, that guy in the white suit's coming, cause problems. Not very many on the top on this one. It's not as dirty, which is probably a good sign. So we'll just set that there. Did smash a couple bees on accident last time, but you're never going to get it perfect, so try not to if you can. You just take this. So bees actually seal up the corners of their hives with the essentially it's a glue. It's called propolis that they make. They put it on all their corners, all their exposed parts of their hive, just to help keep the predators out, keep the wind out. Allows them to better climate control the space. everything like that. So looks like I maybe put that a little too close to their entrance. Looks like I had some bees trying to get in. They couldn't, so go ahead and get this all popped up. Give this a couple puffs. You can really hear them. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear them on the camera or not, but when I do puff this smoker in there, they get a little bit louder, and it's actually them just using their wings, flapping their wings. You can see here, this one has some comb built on the top as well. Not really too sure why they're doing that. They seem to have plenty of space to keep going on this one, but might be because they don't have all the frames drawn out yet. So see if we can't get a little bit of that cleaned up. We'll go ahead and check on this one. Smoker's going good now. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so on this frame, when I went and there's two deep boxes here. That's what they're called. So this one's a deep box and this is a deep box. And the deep boxes are typically used for the brood or the nesting portion of the bees, where the queen lays all of her eggs. And then you use a thing called supers, honey supers, that you set on top of the brood boxes. Some people use one brood box, some people use two, some people use all supers. Just kind of depends. In my case, I chose to use two brood boxes. As you can see, this frame on the end here, not really drawn out much. They got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna go ahead and set that down. Not gonna burn myself on my smoker. But essentially I have two deep boxes on here, and they're working to build all this out. When I came in, I added these. When I added the second deep box, I did a little bit of an experiment just because, and I added the second deep, I added it on the top on the other hive. So that top hive, that top box that we just looked at was a brand new deep. On this hive, I actually added it on the bottom, and I just kind of wanted to see what would happen. So like I said, I'm brand new, so thought I'd just try it, see what happened. I checked it last week. Didn't really seem to make any difference to the eye last week, but you'll see now. So this would be like getting in the bottom box over there. So you'll see the difference that some of these frames have made that have been in the hive for the whole portion of the project, full time that we caught them this spring. So this frame is super heavy and it is full of honey. So you can see that they've got a lot of it capped. They've got a lot of it. I mean, I could literally just drink out of this thing. There's so much honey in it. It's super heavy. I bet this thing is probably 20 pounds. Somewhere around there. Maybe I'll have to look up and see how heavy a frame gets when it's full of honey, how heavy they expect it to be. But that's a good sign. And that's up in the top frame here, top box. I can kind of look down in there. As I'm going, I can see all the way into that bottom box. Boy, the honeybees, they're just working away. They are making a lot of honey. There's a lot of caps over honey already. Like I said, this hive was doing a little bit better than the other hive. As far as numbers-wise go, I felt like. Obviously, you can't sit there and count them all. But it just seemed like there was a lot more bees over here, which is part of the reason why I put that second deep on the bottom. Most people say to put it on the top, so I wanted to put it on the bottom. See what would happen. Didn't figure it would kill this colony by any means, and it looks like it hasn't done nothing. So, all right, back over here. Yep, once again. So this is awesome. You can see this brood that's all in there. That's actually all hatch brood that's in the middle there. They're refilling it with honey. So once it hatches, once the new female worker bees come out. Actually, you can see a drone bee right there on the bottom. He's way bigger than all the rest of them. So that's a male bee. They come out can see up at the top here how those ones are just a little bit different than the rest of them. That's where the drone bees come out of. So you can see they're doing good on this hive. So I'm not too worried. They're making a whole bunch of honey. I'll show you here what exactly I got going on. See what you can see here. So you can see down in there, you can actually see all the way to the bottom. There's another frames at the bottom. There's 2 stacked, that's that second deep. You can kind of see in between the frames, some of that honey really is exposed, looking good. All right. All right.